Alright, so on to the second video of changing the subject. Now we've just got things a little bit more complex, but let's just jump straight to it. So same as before, we are changing subject to the letter in the bracket. So for example, in the first one, because P is what I want to make my subject, I want to make this P on its own. So to start off with, I'm going to do my common sense line and swap them around. So I've got the N bracket 3 plus P equals M. First thing I want to do is expand that bracket. So I'm going to have 3n plus Pn equals M. Then I want to get rid of that 3n, so I've got to take it away. So I now have Pn equals M minus 3n. And then I just need to divide that n away from the P to give me a final answer of P equals M minus 3n all over n. Okay, so on this next one, I've got x plus z over 4 equals 3 over z. First thing I want to do, I want to get rid of my denominators here. I want to get rid of the fractions. So I'm going to multiply the tops by 4z. So essentially, I'm going to put these little bits in brackets, and I'm going to multiply them by 4z. And when I do that, on the first bracket, those 4's are going to cancel, and the z's are going to cancel on the second bracket. So all I have left is going to be z bracket x plus z. And remember, if something entirely cancels on the bottom, it becomes a 1, but essentially that doesn't really add anything by me having that, so that's why the fraction is gone. And left on the other side is just going to be that 4 times the 3. So then I want to expand these brackets. So I'm going to have xz plus z squared equals 12. Take away the z squared on both sides. So I'm left with xz equals 12 minus z squared. And then divide by the z. And so my final answer is x equals 12 minus z squared all over z. Okay, question 3. So I want to make h my my subject. First I want to do my common sense line, so swapping that around. And I've got a fraction here, so I want to multiply everything by the 5 to get rid of it. And so now I'm going to have 3gh squared equals 5q. Then I want to get rid of that 3g. And remember, this whole thing is all being multiplied with that h squared. So when I divide it, I divide them both away at the same time. And so I now have h squared equals 5q over 3g. Now, while I have the h mostly on its own, it is still not my subject. H squared is a subject. I just want the h. And so to get rid of the square, the opposite of squaring is square rooting. So I'm going to square root both sides. So I'm left with h equals the square root of 5q over 3g. And that there is my final answer. And then the last one here, I've got L equals 3 root m over 2. I want to make m the subject of my equation. Firstly, I'm going to do my common sense line, so I'm just going to swap them around. Then get rid of the fraction, so multiply by 2. So now I have 3 root m equals 2 L. I want to divide by the 3 on both sides. So I now have root m equals 2L over 3. And in a similar manner, I have mostly m on its own, but I've only really got the square root of m. I just want the m. So the opposite of square rooting is squaring. So I want to square both sides. And when I do that, I want to put this bit here in brackets. And so I now have m equals 2L over 3, and that is all squared. And remembering our rules of indices, our rules of indices dictate that whenever we have the brackets with a power on the outside, that power is going to affect each thing individually. So I'm going to do 2 squared, I'm going to do L squared, and I'm going to do 3 squared. So all of them are affected on their own. So 2 squared is 4, L squared is just going to stay as L squared, and 3 squared is 9. And so that is my final answer. So that's the general gist of changing the subject. It can be a little bit confusing to get your head around at first, but honestly, with more practice, the quicker it becomes. Let me know if you need any help, and good luck with the work.